the consort of her brothers. We're told that they had no children, but they most certainly intended to. So, subsequently happens is that our hero, in quotation marks, Octavian, becomes the first Roman emperor, Augustus. Became emperor in 27 BCE. Now, Rome was new to the game of total dictatorship, and so he maintained the facade of Rome still being a republic. This, I hope, sounds familiar to you, Americans. Hello. He, too, wanted a child who would rule the world. So his sister is now raising Alexander Helios and Cleopatra the Eighth Selene, and seeing to it that they never rule. I contend that the now first Emperor Augustus put harebrained contingency plan B into effect. That is, he wanted to have a son who would be a god king over the world. He had an adopted son by his wife, who was the son of a former marriage of his wife Livia, who would subsequently become the second emperor, Tiberius. But certainly he wanted his own son to rule the world. That son was Yeshua HaNotzri. The Romans wanted to bring the Jews under control. We were extremely problematic people. We wouldn't submit to their pantheon. And so I suppose he assumed that if he went to the Jews and said, listen, let's create a god king together, the Jews would cooperate in a plan like that. He found a woman, Miriam, from the Davidic line. The importance of the Davidic line I've explained in my video, Davidic Bloodlines. You might be interested in seeing that if you haven't. The Romans were extremely superstitious, and they felt that it was essential to their temporal power to accrue as much spiritual power as they could. So not marrying, but having a child with someone in the Davidic dynasty would accomplish the purpose in their minds of creating a child with tremendous spiritual as well as temporal power, and also bringing the Jews into a state of cooperation and subjection. I assume that the reason why Miriam was chosen, there were many young women from the Davidic bloodlines that he could have chosen, who were of more noble birth than Miriam. I think that that was part of the psyop. Let's call it what it was. This was the first huge psyop. They wanted the whole image of being born to humble parents and so forth and so on, so that the Jews would accept this person as the Messiah. Problem is, they made so many mistakes in halacha, so many mistakes in Jewish law, that we could see that this clearly was not the Messiah, and we did not accept this person as the Mashiach that we had been waiting for. I don't think that Augustus and Miriam's son, Yeshu HaNotzri, was the one who was crucified. After being tortured for 3 days, one can quite easily be rendered unrecognizable. I think that it was another poor soul who was crucified in his place, and that the person who, quote-unquote, was resurrected 3 days later, who appeared 3 days later, was our hero Augustus' son. Yeshu would never have become any kind of a ruler had he not had Roman backing. It certainly wasn't the Jews who gave him any kind of recognition. The truth just does not get accepted readily and easily. People just don't say, yeah, well, I've seen the light, I've seen the truth, I'm accepting this immediately, right now. No, it doesn't happen that way. But he had Roman backing. And so the religion spread. It was essential to Rome then, because the Jews did not cooperate, did not go along with this. And we were the only people left in the world who were able to figure out this ruse, to understand what was wrong with this plan, to make the Jews look as bad as possible. And in order to keep you from the truth, it was very important to Rome to demonize the Jews. They never wanted the Jews to be someone that a Gentile might come to and say, what do you think? What is the truth? What do you learn? Is it? No, they wanted us to be not just scapegoats,